All right, I'm here with Kun Asnee.
Starting now?
Well, it's already started, so
Oh, really?
I'll edit it away. It's
Okay.
not nice.
Okay.
Don't worry, if you say something wrong or nasty, we will make sure you don't go to jail. uh, we will, we will just have a chat, and we're just gonna have a chit chat. Hi. Someone passed by, and I'll just say hi.
Okay.
How are you today, sir?
Good. Just great.
Thank you for doing this for me.
Not at all. We were supposed to have this some time ago, right?
Yeah. Today, I think content itself is not important. How to learn is much more important than content.
The process.
So, the process or the secrets.
Or the way.
Or the way. So I'm interested to tweak your to open up your brain. No, not literally, but
Yeah, okay.
to see how we can.
I hope you
learn
find
some
something from where you open.
well, I'm sure I'll find a lot of things. Whether it's the secret has to be intact, I suppose, not in surgery kind of way. But so maybe my first question for you. Your fantastic art, and we all know that, so I won't go through the first question is, in your mind when you are looking at something, right, to learn, what is the first thing that comes up? What's your philosophy of learning, so to speak, if you could?
There's two different things, right? The philosophy of learning and how I draw, or starting to draw, or what I look for when I start to draw and things like that.
Okay, so maybe you talk about philosophy of learning, then we talk about your art.
I think maybe we talk about philosophy later because it's some kind of a bit more difficult to express,
first.
I think.
Okay, so tactical then. So
But,
what you're saying is that, okay, let's talk about art, right? From an angle of attack.
Right.
So what's your process today?
Okay. Actually, what I've been doing, I'm not quite sure whether I could really put it as art though. Okay, what I've been doing is actually
It's
basically...
very humble.
it's true because I am very bad in remember a lot of things, especially with the reference to the artist's name.
Sure.
Even in song and music, I'm sure I have been listening to a lot of music without really knowing. Or actually I know who they are, what they do and so on, but not the actual name when they happen and so on. Not in terms of figures or hard reference. Same as art. I'm happy to and interested to see all kind of art without really caring too much about which period they are, who was the actual artist and so on.
So you care more about the art than actually the history, so to speak, right? You care
I
about
think
how the art
history
was
is
made.
interesting, but it's just that I didn't really go into all of those hard references and so on.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And as far as art is concerned, art in general is the style and the type of art, certain type of art, only certain type of art that really attracts me. Not all of them.
Okay. So how long have you been drawing?
I've been drawing.
Not professionally. I know you're an architect.
But I think it's related.
Right.
You see, I still remember the day that I worked for 10 years as an architect.
Yeah.
And I can safely say that a lot of things that I am today is related to my background.
Yeah. In some ways, it's a blessing because they are two hobby and work sort of intertwined in some way.
Right. But originally, when I actually do it as a work, I didn't really have any inkling idea of being a hobby.
Right.
Because for example, for the 20 over years I worked as an architect, I don't really remember I did this kind of sketching at all. I do what they call as a perspective drawing.
And
as an architect, you don't really do much drafting.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Right, but you do a lot of designing.
Right.
And designing can be a very rough sketch freehand, or it can be even with actual drawing when you need to at times.
Right.
But I also involved with a lot of perspective drawing.
Right.
Somehow or other, I may relate back to all the way to the school time day in university, whereby in Thailand, the first day we get into the architectural faculty, we are really watched by a lot of our seniors, experience, the type of work.
The tutorials, they watch over you.
Yeah, they don't really tutor you, but you are in the place where everybody is doing that, and then you are kind of you can't help it, but you are just fired up with what they are doing, and then you want to do the same thing and so on.
Okay.
So in short, a lot of Thai architects, I after graduation for a year or two, I went to work in Singapore.
Yep.
And at that time, in early 70s, a lot of Thai architects were being brought to Singapore for their so-called bit of ability to
Right.
draw perspective.
Okay.
I did the
Okay.
same thing too.
Okay.
But then during those days when I do a lot of perspective drawing, and I remember how I feel I improve in drawing perspective and so on.
So even then, you were always learning, even when you're working, right? It's always a learning process.
I would say so. I would say so.
Even today.
Even today, I
So
still
okay,
learning
maybe that's
today.
interesting. So what are you working on today? Are you working on something specific, or you're trying to lose? I don't know. Is that something you're working on today? After so many years of drawing.
Right. After so many years of doing sketching and so
Yeah.
on, just for fun.
Right.
And recently, this has got something to do with spiritual
Okay.
quest somehow or other.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the lines are becoming more spiritual, so to speak. Well, or finding meaning in some way. The lines are finding meanings.
Lines of sketching, drawing, you mean?
Are finding meanings.
I don't think it's because it's not just a lie, but it's a lot of things that you put into
Right.
what you are doing.
Right.
Uh,
Maybe describe to me how you think as you're doing it.
Okay, in short, okay, I just feel that I would like to produce something out of my interest in sketching and so on,
Okay.
to be more meaningful in what I believe in God, in
Yep.
religion, and so
Right.
on and
Right.
so forth.
So the line has to mean something, and when someone see it, you want
mean
them to get
actual line.
the actual lines, because you're transmitting something. You're transmitting something through your drawing.
Well, first of all, this is just the beginning,
Right.
Because
So this is what you're
I'm
because
just
my question is
starting
what you're
to
learning.
feel
Yep.
that, okay,
Yep.
and I haven't really produced much of whatever I intend to do.
Right.
It's just
So
in
you have
my
a direction that you
intention.
want. No, that's very good. I mean,
I'm still trying to find my direction.
Yeah. Oh, but this is very deep, right?
Well, a
Well,
bit too deep, you know.
But the whole idea is that you're moving away from what I say, actual representation. So it's not a building. It's not just a building.
It's just not
is-
the drawing.
Yeah, it's not just a drawing
Yeah.
anymore, right?
I am
So,
still
yeah.
in the process of
No, that's
trying
good.
to find way.
get it. I get it.
You know,
I get it, yeah.
to be able to express my intention,
Yeah.
my desire to do something.
Yeah. No, I
more
get it. Yeah.
worthwhile and so on.
No, I get it. So maybe the question on that part of it, which is what you're learning, but what specifically are you working to change or to improve? Is there specific tactics that you're putting into it? You're talking about trying to get meaning, right? The
Right,
spirituality
right.
of it. So what exactly are you doing?
Actually, it's much simpler than that.
Oh, okay.
Because as I said, I haven't really gone or developed anything concrete.
Okay.
But at the moment, I am undertaking to do something simply by just doing sketches
Yep.
of some church or some,
Right.
well, in Thai we categorize the church into a few levels.
Right.
But basically, as for Baptists,
Right.
all the Baptist church here, they are not that fantastic or beautiful, especially in
Right.
Thailand and Bangkok.
Right.
Some of them are just basically a shop house,
Right.
where they use as
A worship place.
worship place and so on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
get it.
last year when I visited you, somehow I
Yeah.
happened to draw some of the cathedral and so
Yeah.
on.
In Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I realized that in Catholic, they have a lot of beautiful things.
Yeah. They
to,
emphasize a lot on
that's right.
the
but not
craftsmanship of it.
in,
Yeah.
in Baptist
Yeah,
church
yeah.
and
It's
so
very
on.
simple, very
Simple
plain.
and so on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one particular church which is so-called my mother church.
Yeah.
Meaning that they are the one who offspring the church
Yeah.
I'm with now.
Yeah.
They are celebrating their 50-year anniversary.
Oh, amazing, yeah.
Yeah. Next year,
Right.
February. I mean.
Celebration, yeah.
November.
Yep.
And I'm undertaking to draw some of these, their daughters, their related churches.
Right.
Okay.
The
for
daughter
them
churches.
to-
Yep.
For
Mhm.
them to produce into this anniversary.
Okay.
book
So a
and so on.
series of facade or series
That's
of
right.
or life around. Yeah. Because church itself is not just a building; it's also the life in it.
That's right. Exactly that
Yeah.
is my point of trying to sell my idea and
Yeah, yeah.
which it was received very well.
Yep.
So what I intend to draw for them is the building itself is not really interesting, But then the other point is I'm trying to show the life, the setting of the people around the church.
Oh, urban sketching actually in some way.
Exactly.
But I think in
this
this
is what
case
you are
is-
doing day in day out anyway.
Yeah.
But in this case, I
It
just
is
want
meaning,
to
the meaning. That's
the
what I'm trying
meaning of
to.
it,
The meaning of it, right?
So it's the use of urban sketching into the actual purpose of the drawing.
Yeah.
So-
Actually, that triggers a thought because for longest time, someone asked me in Singapore, communion when the bread and the wine is served.
wine, yep.
We actually have very few recordings of what different churches in Singapore do with communions, and they are all different practices, right?
Right.
And in fact, photographs don't come by easily. So I was thinking one of a project when I have more time in life
Right.
is to go around to capture in sketches communion, just communion
Okay.
in Baptist, in Presbyterian, in Methodist, and
Okay.
and see it's different, but yet it is the same God. And so the spirituality of aspects of it is to represent the life of church, the church life, right?
Okay.
Despite different practices, but actually it's the same,
Right.
right? Maybe that triggers
Okay,
a thought. Maybe
so-
there's a project that's quite
okay.
similar in that sense.
Well,
yeah.
as far as this
Yeah.
evening is concerned, perhaps I'm afraid I may not be able to express or help you.
that's okay,
in
that's okay.
saying
But-
how I learn, but maybe
Yeah.
what I'm doing at the moment.
but that's important because I think a lot of people think that once you have mastered line, you stop.
Yeah.
But to me, that is the failure, step number one failure point of learning. Because I think in learning, you're humble enough to say, next step,
I'm
next
still
step,
learning.
next step, next step. You're always learning, right?
Right,
It's like Renoir who says at the last day when I picked up my brush and I still learned something. And that was the last day of his life.
If there's anything I could do, I really want to do that.
Yeah, that's the best, right?
Okay.
Okay, maybe
So-
switch. Sorry.
So about just trying to produce the sketches for them,
Okay.
which include all the live the activity around that particular church.
Right.
Some of
Fair
them
enough.
they're all different. Some
Yeah.
of them are in the market area,
Yeah.
and there's one particular the mother church itself is in the mid of 5 other religions around.
Oh wow. So it's
Chinese temple.
lots of life around.
Yeah, a lot of lives around and so on. I'm just starting now.
Yeah.
And just to go a bit further on this, before this I was trying to attempt to draw Jesus Christ's face.
Okay. That's the most abstract thing you can do.
Yeah. So I started to dig around, and then even there's one very funny Negro man
Yes,
face
black.
or something,
Jesus is closer to black than
to
white,
black,
Yeah.
whereby they claim that is the closest of the
The Aramaic,
Arabic or a Jewish
Yeah,
guy
yeah.
during that part of time and so
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And the way I have just started one or two version of those
Okay.
faces.
I'd like to see how you end up with this.
Yeah, and but then I have a specific idea of I wanted to capture the face to go together with the 7 last words uttered by Christ.
Okay. Now you put me on the spot. 7 last words. Okay.
Well, according to the
scripture. Yeah.
the scripture, he said certain 7 last sentences
Okay.
before he passed away,
right.
before he actually
Right.
died.
Yeah.
One of them of which is, for example, Father God, forgive them for
Eli,
they just don't know what they're
Sabachthani,
doing.
Yeah.
That sort of a thing.
Yeah.
So I try to look around and find what kind of faces I should marry with this sentence, for example.
Okay. So you're combining words with the face.
Yep, that's
or
right.
Probably expression. More
Expression.
than face itself.
I can't guarantee you that it will be the best or really
I
the
would love to
suitable
see.
one.
Yeah.
But then
You can
I'm
let me
just
know when-
trying to
You let me know when
Right.
you have. Yeah.
Then-
no, it's a good project.
Yeah, next to that is the one I'm trying to produce for all of
Okay.
these 17
churches.
of them.
17
Dora
churches.
That's right.
Okay, let me know. We'll support.
Sure.
See how we can support.
Okay.
So maybe we'll take a separate question and
All
one
right.
last one, and then we'll explore that a little bit. Specifically more toward arts and creative life, right? I think it is a practice and almost a way of life, because you cannot just say I stopped doing art today and then tomorrow, after a couple of years, I pick it up again. I think there is this concept that you are being creative, and I think it is not necessarily drawing, but creative means that you are trying to operate differently as a human being. Do you agree with that statement?
In artistic sense?
Artistic sense, yeah. Because, even in accounting, you can do creative accounting. You know, I don't mean creative accounting, but by cheating people. No, what I mean is that you can be creative in what you do, right? I feel that by practicing certain aspects of art, like music or drawing, you can infuse or take some of this, and it becomes sort of a way of life, in the way you think about your work, right? You may be an accountant, a lawyer, engineer, but opening up your mind in different ways. Do you agree that it will help you to think through differently, out of the box, and so on?
Well, I suppose so. Okay. How should I follow your lead?
Well, the question I have really is centering around, when we have people who are in the urban sketchers or sketchers group. They are doctors or ex-doctors, retired doctors or teachers or even accountants and so on, right? It seems to me that most people would think that sketch is a hobby. So whatever you do with your creative life, it's a separate compartment to your life. Doesn't really impact your other thing. So my point, and I'm asking your opinion on this, is that that's not true. My own experience is it actually infused my other aspects of my life with creativity. I wanted to hear from you how that sort of worked for you.
I have been doing this for many, many years, not related to religion or anything at all, but it's basically after 10 years of sketching, I started to ask myself that, so, Asnee, how long more do you want to just enjoy yourself this way?
Well, it's nothing wrong with enjoying,
It's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't find any purpose of enjoying for too long.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You have to find
not too long. Okay. So I was interested in teaching.
Yeah.
So
and you taught for a long time?
No, only the past few years.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Before that, I was just still crazily enjoying.
For yourself?
Yep. But then I suddenly I have the inclination or the idea that I really would like to teach other people to draw as a mean for recording and learning.
Right.
And start with children, especially Thai children, Thai youth.
Because I think it impacts their life, actually.
Yep, it does. And I always have this conviction that when you draw, you observe.
Yeah.
When you observe, you have question.
Yes.
And that's how the best way you learn.
You get deeper into the world that we are put in, right?
That's right.
And by getting into deeper, you are curious.
That's right.
And therefore, you have questions that are more insightful, as opposed to a cursory question.
Right.
Not on the surface, but deep insight.
Yeah.
Right.
And I will be just happy only on the surface level.
Yeah.
That they just use your hand.
Yeah.
And then they just use something to try to draw something.
Yeah.
Draw something is for the purpose of recording, reflecting what they see.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's sad to say that, especially in Thai context.
Yeah.
Children or even adult or the whole of Thailand.
It's not just Thailand. It's everywhere, I think.
Yeah. Or in other words, I compare like the books, printing business, or writing, novel, anything to do with reading and writing.
Yeah.
They are so much more advanced in Japan, for example, but not in Thailand.
The literacy, the reading in some cultures is definitely more. That's for sure.
Right.
Japan is one of them.
Right.
I think some of the northern Europeans are also very, very high on reading habit.
So I started to look around ways to how to make myself more useful in this field.
Yep.
Okay, then when I started to teach, then I realized I don't know how to teach.
You learn something about yourself.
Yeah, you learn, you do it through whatever means.
But that's growth, right? Because what's happening here, I think, sorry, I'm just interjecting. You have gotten to a stage where you're comfortable with you're enjoying your drawing.
Right.
You want to teach drawing. But they are not the same thing. And what you're saying is that you felt that, somehow you thought you could, but then when you're starting to teach, you realize there's some skills some skills that you still need to acquire.
Right. And I need to acquire the possibility of teaching people how to do what I can do.
Right.
And it's not the same thing, definitely.
It's definitely not the same thing, right? Yeah.
Right. And for example, I'm not going to teach them how to draw the way I draw.
Yes.
That's most important.
Yes.
Because then you just get them to draw what
it's a process. You're not trying to teach them a process. So you might, but that's not the point.
Right. But it's not easy to be able to find a way to lead people to draw but not practicing what you are drawing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I get what you're saying. What you're saying, let me translate that, is that
sure.
you have a process. By showing the process, the danger is that they catch your process but not the intention on drawing itself.
Yes, more or less. But even how to, okay, if you want some people to draw nice drawing, but how to draw nice drawing? Anybody, when they can't draw nice drawing.
Yeah, they can't.
They can't.
They're too big a gap.
Yeah.
They cannot just jump. Like,
right. So you have to start to give them certain possibility of
tools,
how to learn.
Tools, certain process.
Right.
Okay.
So more or less that is my problem, and I am not very good in communicating or talking long talk. I can't just can't do that.
Yeah.
So I try to find out if I want them to do this. How should I? What is the first step I want them to do, and so on and so forth. But then one of the main point that I believe I've learned through being trained as an architect is that a lot of, especially in School of Architecture, all of those learner, the student, they were forced to draw whatever the teacher want them to draw.
Right.
Which I don't think is right. And then I always believe that if they enjoy what they are doing, then they would do.
They would do it. Yeah.
And then from what they can doing, because they love to do it, then you can get them to do anything you want them to do.
Yeah. No, it's fair enough. So, but if you force them, they hate it, then they might stop.
That's right.
Which is actually what happened to a lot of kids.
That's right.
Because either the parents or teachers just force them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the first step I was trying to make sure that they enjoy drawing. And then they can draw freely, and whatever they draw, they would enjoy and they would be proud of it.
So first thing, encourage them, make them feel like it's fun, that they love it,
and
then they are on their way to doing it on their own.
But you have to find certain thing they can draw even they were so damn stupid. They can still draw it and come out nice.
So your exercise of single line, I remember you put me on a page where just draw for 10 minutes, like one line, right? And I remember going like, okay, I have done this many times, but this line is going very, very long.
but the line thing is different, a little bit different.
Yeah, okay.
The line thing depends a lot on the feel of the drawing of the line.
Right.
Actually, this is something when I recall back, I realized that when I was trying to draw a line, when I at work, for example, I actually can feel the feeling of the pen tip touching the paper.
Yes.
And move along.
That's amazing because you've gotten the sensitive.
Yeah. You can feel the texture of the paper.
Yeah, rough, cold press, hot.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
That's right.
Yeah, depending on the pen too. Some pen no.
That's right. Or when I do the rendering by pencil, for example,
you can feel
when you're trying to do the hatching and so on, you can feel how it fill up the space. And how does it feel when the lead touching the first face of paper.
Yeah.
So.
You gotta feel the tip.
When you actually draw the long line, sooner or later they will start to feel how it is like.
No, I get what you're trying to do.
So that kind of thing
feedback,
whereby you have to get them to try without forcing them.
Right, but they must enjoy the process.
That's right.
Right. So what else do you try to get them to do? I mean, you've done a lot of classes now, right? So
I mentioned this. Is it Alvin?
Yes, Alvin.
No, my living room.
We'll go say hi later to Alvin.
So the other one I told you about the newspaper thing, where I concocted something.
You created a process, a learning process.
3 C.
3 C's.
One is for conformity. The second one is challenge. The third one is creativity. Right.
Okay.
The conformity is based on the idea that when you want to learn something, you just follow what one tells you to do.
Right. Copy
without forcing them.
Yeah.
And how to make them copy without being feel that you are forced to copy something.
Right.
So I use newspaper, whereby you have all the columns and all the lines.
It's already preset.
Right. So you tell them to draw only vertical and horizontal lines.
I see. I got it.
On all of those things that you see in the paper. Then they start to do only that without knowing that they're creating something.
Yeah. You're forcing them to
you give them a parameter
a structure.
that they
a
don't
parameter.
feel the structure,
Yeah, yeah.
where they don't feel that they were being forced or copy anything.
Yeah,
But
constraint.
the result, they will be happy with whatever they did.
Yeah, actually they are copying, but they are not realizing
That's
it.
right.
Okay. So what's the second one?
Challenge.
Challenge.
So first of all, you are supposed to draw only horizontal and vertical line.
Right.
The challenge is you draw any line except horizontal and vertical.
Now you're trying to break them up.
Right.
You're trying to make them come out of the box.
Right. But not any line.
Yes. There's
you
a
must
rule,
be
and the
able.
rule's hard.
Yeah, no, second rule.
That's
Second
right.
rule. You must be able to answer me why you draw that line.
Right.
By forcing them to say that whatever line, like diagonal line, for example, you must find a target of which block of letter
Right.
that you are doing
The diagonal.
diagonal.
Right. So it's just not any random line.
Right.
But there
you
is
must
a
be able
structure to it.
Yeah,
The
you
structure
must be able
still
to
there.
answer
Okay.
what you are basing for.
Okay.
For example, because it's so aptly that it happened during the Bangkok breakdown.
Right.
A lot of people just go out and yell. A lot of people just go out yelling, I
Yeah.
want change, I want this, and without
Yeah.
really knowing what they are trying to protest against.
Right. They are conforming to a activity
Without
but
really
without
knowing the
knowing
purpose.
what's the purpose. Right.
But this one, you must be able to doing against it
Right.
by having certain purpose.
Right. So the purpose of this exercise is to get them to know their purpose.
That's right.
Right. But by forcing them onto some structure that they cannot break, which
That's
is
right.
the rules.
Yeah.
Right. You said.
By that, they can produce beautiful abstract art.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
end
true.
up with diagonal line, curve, circle, and so on.
Right.
Except horizontal. and vertical.
Which is hard because you have this tendency to draw straight line all the time, right?
They can still draw straight line.
But it's diagonal.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what is the third one?
The third one is after that you can do what the hell you want to do.
It's to enjoy themselves.
Right.
But they have gotten enough basic and they know the
That's right.
enjoyment of it.
Basically, all of these three things is basically is a rule or basis of a shape building.
Right. Okay, got
So-
it.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. No, this exercise is useful. So hopefully the audience can also maybe pick up some. I will maybe take some do you have a Facebook photo that I can get?
I can send you some.
Okay, then I'll just stick it into the page and then they can see it.
Okay.
Right. So maybe last closing word, Asnee. I know that there's so much rich of experience. There's no way I can in 15 minutes pick your brain.
Okay.
So
You'll be
if-
surprised.
No,
I've been running out of it.
But I mean, you're in the business of teaching. I'm in the business of teaching as well. So
Right.
I do want to make sure that maybe one last tip, right, is if someone is starting out to become an urban sketcher or a sketcher, maybe not just necessarily urban sketcher in the strict sense of the word. What are the 2-3 things that you have advice for them as a parting advice?
First of all, I just wish that they have the interest to draw.
Okay, they assume
Okay.
not just doing it because of other reasons, but interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once you have interest, then you are 50% on the way.
50%. Well, that's a lot. Having interest. That's
I
a
think
lot.
so.
Yeah.
Because when you're interested, you don't really need to draw exactly or
Yeah.
correctly or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then come to the second part,
Yeah.
finish what you're doing.
All right. Start but finish it.
That's right.
Okay.
Once you finish it, good or bad, is always something,
Right.
a piece of work.
It's a learning process too,
That's
not just
right.
a.
That's right.
Yeah. So, do you think that the art itself or the process is more important, or both?
I think it's the
The-
probably both though. Process and the
Final
work
product.
itself.
Right.
I think the process is more important because you can finish your work, artwork, and it's so lousy that no one.
but
But person, you yourself feel good about it.
yeah, if you like your process.
That's right.
But if you're learning, the next piece will be better anyway. So this
Right,
piece is
right, right.
right. Well,
Maybe the last one.
okay.
The last one is that everything is in front of you.
Yeah.
I always tell them, if you want to draw them, look and find what you see in them.
So start with seeing.
Seeing,
Observing.
feeling, Yep.
Feel the place.
Right.
Right.
Even for myself, I still use. I rely a lot
Senses.
on. I have to see.
the sight. Yeah.
Yep. Because a lot of time I want to draw something. Okay, I probably can draw it, and perhaps I can also just imagine it up and so on. But nothing will be as good as being able to see and as well as to feel them.
Yeah.
In order to produce something.
Yeah. Well, we are living in a world that God's made, so we should enjoy it.
Yeah.
And therefore be able to use our senses to enjoy it.
Right.
But art actually was a mean. I think what you're saying is that it is actually very enjoyable to enjoy the world.
Right.
But you have to see.
That's
you have to
right.
hear.
Right.
You have to feel.
That's right. Because this one has got to do something with the very latest learning I got from one of the church session.
Right.
Why God must have Sunday?
Oh, why?
You know why?
No.
Because God has been working so hard for the 6 days.
The rest.
Not to rest, but to enjoy, to appreciate what you have created.
That's the point. To enjoy what He has done. He has made.
If you have created so many things and you don't have the one day to enjoy it, there's no meaning.
Yeah. It reminds me the answer to the first question on the Catechism, the Westminster, which is what is the purpose of chief end of man? And that is to give glory and to enjoy Him forever.
Right.
So, well, I think that's a fantastic ending. Thank you very much,
Sure.
Asnee.
All right. You're
Pleasure
most
to talk to you always. Thank you.
All right.